Welcome to another episode of Azar Speaks, where we explore life success from a spiritual, mental, physical, and financial perspective. I'm going to ask the question. This is a pivotal question, I think, that you have to answer in your life at some point. And the question is, are you living to ball, right? Or are you living for a call? The reason that I asked that question is because we actually have to go ahead and spend our days working, right? We have to work for a living, some form of fashion. If you want to support yourself, you want to be able to pay bills. Hopefully you have more dreams than that. Your dreams are bigger than just paying bills. But if you want to be able to pay the bills and do other things, you want to go ahead. You have to earn money, right? So what I see a lot of, though, is that it's beyond just, hey, I want to be comfortable. I want to make sure that, I have enough money to take care of myself and my family for, some generations to come, leave something here, but also make life good while I'm here also, which is, I think great. But I think that a lot of people are living the ball, right? And it's like, I don't want just, a nice car. I got to have a supercar. I got to have a Lamborghini. I got to have a Bentley, right? And those things can have their place, right? I'm not against anybody wanting to have a Bentley or something like, or a Lamborghini or anything like that, a supercar. If you want a Bugatti Veyron, those are nice cars, right? Those are sweet. If somebody gave me one, I definitely would drive that bad boy, right? If I had the opportunity to earn one through my own efforts, I would drive it, right? If I decide to go ahead and buy one, I would drive it. Definitely, I would use it. But sometimes, I think we sometimes get confused, or we miss out on something, right? We can miss out on our calling because we live in the ball. And what I mean by that is, the reason I come to that conclusion is because it's so prevalent in today's society. Hey, make money, make money, make money, make money, and make as much money as you can. You can become a millionaire. Now it's not enough to be a millionaire. Being a millionaire 20 years ago, that sounded great. Now it's like, be a billionaire, right? If you're a billionaire, you're really doing something, right? And it's like, when is it going to stop? When is it going to end? Now you got to have $200 billion. Then it's $500 billion. Then finally somebody's going to hit the trillionaire mark. Then it's like, oh man, we got to be trillionaires now, and it's like, wow. It's not enough now to just make, $1 million anymore, right? They say $1 million now is worth probably $500,000 or $600,000, in 30 years ago's terms, in the 80s terms or 90s terms maybe, right? But I think about all the people who are going to spend their lives trying to make a fortune, financially, and miss out on so much more. When I think about people like, just for instance, Paul from the Bible. Paul wrote 2/3 of the New Testament. Just think if he would have said, you know what, I'm not going to go ahead and do this New Testament stuff. I'm not going to write these letters. I'm going to go ahead and actually spend my time actually going ahead trying to make a living, trying to make more money, right? Trying to make as much money as I can, right? But he didn't do that. And maybe he missed out on some comforts during his lifetime, right? But just think of the legacy he left. Billions of people have been touched by the Bible. Billions of people have been touched by those letters that he wrote. Some of them he wrote while he was in jail, right? He wrote them while he was going ahead and planting churches and helping churches get off the ground and helping churches mature and develop, right? These Christian communities, because the Christian church was a fledgling church in the 1st century AD, right? And that's when he lived, and that's when he was doing his thing. Just think if you'd have said, though, I got to make this money. I got to get this dough because I want to buy myself some new horses. I want to try to get to the palace and get close to the king and be cool with him or the emperor or whoever it is, Caiaphas or whatever. Just think if he'd had that line of thinking. Just think if Martin Luther King would have said, you know what? I like the fact that, I'm able to touch a few lives here and there, man. But, I really want to start this company up, MLK Enterprises, right? So I could be a millionaire one day, right? Because in those terms, in the, 50s and 60s, they were thinking in millionaire terms. I was like, you're a millionaire. That's something great, right? But just think if you'd have thought that, and pursued that dream instead of pursuing the dream speech that he actually delivered at the Washington Mall in 1963. The efforts that he put in to bring equity, to bring equality to the nation, that was based on effort, that was based on, your attributes, based on who you were as a person and your character, and not your skin color, not your race, right? Just think if you just said, "Nah, I'm gonna do this other thing instead of that," right? But he had a calling, you know. I think there are some people who have a calling right now, and some people sometimes it intertwines. I think Bill Gates is one example of that. You know, he's made a fortune, but also he's made it a calling to go ahead and actually enrich people's lives around the globe, not just with Microsoft, not just technologically, but also what they're doing, particularly for girls. Him and his wife are doing for girls around the world. And they've recognized that, hey, if you're a girl, if you're born female, then more than likely, you know, you're going to have a little bit of a harder life. You know, in some places, a lot harder life, you know, depending on what region of the world you're born in. And so they recognize that, and they're doing something about it. I think that's awesome, right? That's part of a calling to change the world, to impact the world. You know, there's so many more people: George Washington Carver, Cesar Chavez, you know, so many other folks that, you know, I probably don't even know the names to, but they've actually changed the world. I think Henry Ford is probably another example of someone who blended commerce and calling. You know, as far as being able to just redevelop the way cars were made. Now everybody has a car. Now, not everybody has a car, but a lot more people have cars, and they have ways to be able to get around and do things that they need to do. We need to do something about those emissions, you know, the gas and all that stuff, you know, messing up the ozone. But, you know, there's somebody out there who has a calling for that. You know, I'm sure that technology already exists, but it would take money from the oil companies, and that's not a topic that I brought you here for today, right? But, you know, this the simple question: Are you living to ball, or are you living to answer your call? What is your call? And so you got to answer that question, and hopefully you get to answer that as soon as you can, so that you can start living it. And you know, just wish the best for everybody today. Thanks for coming to my channel. Subscribe, hit the like button. Really appreciate you. Azar out.